Hey everyone, welcome back to another video from A Man Talks FPL SC. Today we're going through the Game Week 7 team selection. Hopefully you all had a good Game Week 6 and got some green arrows, but let's move on to Game Week 7. A lot of discussion around wildcard, bringing in Chelsea players, so a lot of considerations for this game week. So let's get into how I'm shaping up for the week. But as always, if you enjoy the video, really appreciate a thumbs up. It really helps me out in terms of the YouTube algorithm. Definitely subscribe if you're also enjoying the content. We are also starting to do live streams on the channel, so if you guys want to get a little bit more involved in the community, but definitely stay subscribed if you want to stick around and see when they're going to be up on the channel. But let's get into the Game Week 7 team selection. So starting off with the defense, again, under delivering this week as well. Starting off at the back there with Sanchez, he just loves only getting 2 points. He got a yellow card, but he also got a bonus point in this game against Crystal Palace. Obviously, he created a big chance for Danny Welbeck, which is the reason why he was actually able to get that bonus point in the first place. But he can't get 3s, 4s, 5s. It has to be 2 or 6. And so it was a 2 this week for Sanchez. Trent, Soufal and Shaw, again, the defenders not doing very much here. Obviously, Shaw got an injury and went off very early in the game. And Soufal, only the 2-pointer against Leeds. I wasn't really expecting a clean sheet because of Leeds' decent attack, but I was expecting potentially some attacking returns given how poor the Leeds defense was. He did create 3 chances, and he also potentially could have maybe got that assist for Jared Bowen, but obviously it deflected off the defender and became an own goal, so Soufal wasn't able to get any kind of attacking return there, which was a little bit disappointing. And then Trent was pretty quiet, only the 1 chance created. Could be still battling potentially, some of the after effects of that illness he had the week prior, but a very exciting match, 3-3 Liverpool-Brentford, but obviously without any attacking threats and conceding 3 goals. Trent only the 1-pointer here for Game Week 6. So taking a look at the midfield, this is where we did get the majority of our points, all kind of chipping in. Salah obviously got his goal. He definitely could have got more as well. He had 3 big chances, only converting the 1. And Sarr is just continuing to tick along. Really happy with that transfer in a couple of weeks ago. He got 15 points for us last week, and again 9 this week with that headed goal this week against Newcastle. Rafinha as well is just looking so good on the eye. He had 8 points. He definitely could have got more here. He's always looking heavily involved. He also created a big chance, so he could have had an assist on top of his goal, which is kind of the story that we see with Rafinha. To the eye, he always looks like he's going to get a massive haul, but he only ever seems to chip in with a 1 return. But obviously we can't complain at that price of 6.5 mil. Fantastic value at his price point, and definitely is looking like one of the best transfer targets, I think, if you don't have him in your team already. And Saïd Benrahma with the 3 points. He did get a bonus point in that game, which helped get him from that 2 to 3 points. He did have quite a few shots, but no major attacking returns that we got from him. He also created a big chance, so he could have had an assist potentially in this one, but yet only the 3 points from Benrahma. And so looking at the forward line, a bit of a disappointing one at that. We've got Cristiano Ronaldo. The blank captaincy is definitely the thing that hurt us this game week. Only the 2 points from Ronaldo, and United in general just didn't seem to gel in attack. Obviously the big fiasco of, United got a penalty and we're all like, yes, Ronaldo's going to take the penalty. He's going to get us his captaincy points. And then Bruno Fernandes steps up and I'm just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And then he absolutely skies it. Emi Martinez does a little bit of a dance to the Old Trafford crowd. Really, really fun to watch. But yeah, a bit disappointing that Ronaldo wasn't on the penalty. But who knows, after that miss, he could be on them now. Antonio obviously got that very, very last minute goal against Leeds. So he had quite a few good stats from this Leeds game. Again, just underlying how much of a valued asset he is at the moment in FPL. He obviously got the goal. He had 2 big chances, 1 big chance created. He also had 7 shots, which I think 6 were in the box. So he's definitely in the right areas and is definitely getting a lot of the FPL points. And he is a big decision to consider whether to hold on to if you are looking to wildcard in Game Week 7 or 8. Given that, West Ham's fixtures coming up are not the best, but he's looking undroppable at the moment. And a bit of a strange one here, Chris Wood. We brought him in for Bamford just as a bit of a 2-week punt because my plan is definitely going to be to wildcard in Game Week 8. I think the team is looking okay, but I think if I don't wildcard in Game Week 8, I feel like I'm going to be a little bit behind the curve. And I think there is enough issues in the team and there's enough changes that I want to make in the team, bringing in Chelsea, bringing in City players, that I'm probably going to be wildcarding in Game Week 8. And so Chris Wood was a bit of a 2-week punt because he had Leicester, who weren't tracking that well on the defensive side of things, and they did concede the 2 goals. And Chris Wood, he was so unlucky. He was just ruled offside in the very last minute of the game. He could have got a return for us as well, but he's got a nice fixture up against Norwich this game week, so I'm hopeful for some big returns out of my super differential in Chris Wood. But that's the team how it was for Game Week 6. We had Emil Smith-Rowe on the bench there with a massive 12 points, and he was the biggest scorer of my team this game week, and he was on my bench. It's always a painful one when you see that, but I am happy that he got those points. A goal and assist, and Arsenal in general looked really, really solid. Spurs admittedly were looking pretty poor, but I'm happy enough that he's been looking like a good option. He's been getting in the right positions, getting into the box, Finally, he was able to get the assist and the goal. I'm hoping that now this brings some more transfers in for him and we can get his price back up because he has dropped to 5.3 in the team. So I'm hoping that price can go a little bit up But with Arsenal's good fixtures coming up, I'm thinking that he's probably going to be someone I just hold indefinitely in the team because he's such a cheap option, presenting good value, that when I do admittedly hopefully pick him for the right weeks, he can deliver for us. And so in total, we had 46 points in game week 6, which is not ideal. We're on 421 total points. The game week rank was not great either, about 2.9 mil. And we had a red arrow to 187k, so a bit of a 30k rank drop from last week, but still sitting in the top 200k, which I'm pretty happy with at this stage of the early season. And definitely with a wildcard coming to the team soon, I think hopefully we can start getting that rank up and towards the top 100k as we consolidate kind of towards the early mid stage of the season. So let's now go into how the team is going to shape up for game week 7. I'm not looking to play the wildcard as I mentioned, but there will be potentially some things that happen in the team that may force my hand early. I have already done an early transfer. I have actually brought in Antonio Rudiger in for Luke Shaw. The reason being that I did that, I don't normally like making the early transfers, and especially this week because we're not quite sure the extent of Luke Shaw's injury. Trent is actually now a doubt because he didn't fly to Porto for Liverpool's Champions League fixture. I still have guys like Luke Ayling on the bench who, we're not sure if they're going to be past fit. But the reason that I did that move from Luke Shaw to Rudiger was I made a wildcard draft for next week, and I really liked it. It's kind of the draft that I'd go for, but it had 0.1 in the bank. And Rudiger was looking like he was going to go up in price. He didn't. He's still at 5.6 mil. But the reason I went early was that if Shaw went down in price and Rudiger went up, I was going to be priced out of my kind of ideal wildcard squad. So that's the reason I went early on it. Reason being also that, if things go bad, say Trent is out, Ayling is out, and I'm not able to field a good 10, 11 players this game week, I'll just play the wildcard a week in advance. But as we're going to see through the team, it's not looking too bad for game week 7, which is why I'm kind of reluctant to play it this week. But if my hand is forced, we'll just have to play it. So definitely follow me on Twitter as well, where I do always reveal my team pre-deadline, just in case I'm not able to get another video or live stream up before the deadline. So starting off with the defense, Sanchez against Arsenal is not a great fixture, but they are playing at home, and Brighton's defensive stats are still looking pretty good. They only had a 0.5 expected goals conceded against Crystal Palace if you take out the penalty. So still looking pretty solid at the back. And Arsenal, yes, obviously they scored 3 against Tottenham, but up until this point in the season, our attack has not been the most kind of fluid. Sure, Brighton will concede a goal, but hopefully just 2 points for Sanchez. But I think he's not looking like someone I'm going to be keeping on my wildcard in game week 8. As you can see there, Norwich in game week 8 is good, but then he's got Man City and Liverpool. And I think there are going to be better options with a little bit higher upside than Sanchez, even at his price point as well. Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously a tough fixture against Man City, and we have to see if he's going to be available to play this game week after having some doubt. But he's also someone that I think you just kind of have to cop the game against Man City because you have to view him as a long-term asset. So yes, he has a tough fixture against United, but he won't be going anywhere in the team. Soufal was definitely someone I was looking to transfer out soon as well. Obviously, Brentford this week is not a bad fixture, although Brentford's attack has been looking good. West Ham's defense has not been looking good, so I'm not really expecting much here. And as you can see there, Everton, Tottenham, Aston Villa, the run coming up for West Ham is not ideal. So Soufal is definitely someone I think I'm not going to be keeping on my game week 8 wildcard, and he has been a little bit disappointing up until this point in the season. And Rudiger, as we mentioned, I have brought him in. I wanted to get at least one Chelsea defender. That was going to be the plan, to bring in a Chelsea asset for game week 7, just with this great run of fixtures coming up. Kind of needed to cover that defense. The reason that I went with Rudiger over Alonso was that I just wanted to go for a little bit more security, and if on wildcard I can still bring in Alonso, just because Chelsea have got this midweek Champions League fixture against Juventus. Say if Alonso starts that, it gives some doubt potentially whether he might start in the Premier League. I think he is still first choice at the moment, as Chilwell is just starting to be reintegrated back into the team, but there was a little bit of doubt. Obviously Alonso's upside can definitely kind of quell any of the doubt of him being a rotation risk. But given that I had those issues on the bench like Luke Ayling, I couldn't really afford too many other defensive dropouts, and my bench wasn't going to be able to sustain that for this game week. That's the reason that I went for Rudiger, and I think he's obviously going to be a great long-term hold covering that Chelsea defense. So next up in midfield, no major changes here. I mean, Salah against Man City, but Salah has been looking absolutely amazing this season. He's not going anywhere. Sarr has got a good fixture against Leeds away, who are one of the worst defenses in the league, and Sarr's obviously been on a bit of a hot streak in the last couple of games, so definitely happy to have him this game week, although on my wildcard he might not be there because you can see the run for Watford coming up after Leeds is not the best. Liverpool and Everton is not ideal. Southampton is not a bad fixture, but long term after that the fixtures are not great for Watford. And when I brought in Sarr, he definitely was going to be one of those players that I was thinking of as more of a short-term punt before I wildcarded, and I'm sticking to that plan I think at the moment. Rafinha alternatively is going to be someone who I definitely stick with in the team for the long term, barring any injury issues with him, because the run of fixtures for Leeds is absolutely amazing. Watford, Southampton, Wolves, and then Norwich. At his price point, he definitely is that kind of best option, I think, in that 6 mil midfield range. So Rafinha, definitely happy to have him in the team moving forward as well, and he will definitely be on my wildcard draft for sure. And finally, Benrahma against Brentford, his old club. Playing at home, I think this does help West Ham just a little bit, and I still think he is presenting good value as well. Again, one of these players where I'm not sure if I'm going to be holding on a wildcard. If I was being totally honest, I don't think he would make it on my wildcard draft, mainly just because of the West Ham fixtures, and I think there are just going to be other options in midfield that I can target that have a little bit better fixtures on wildcard. But Benrahma has done nothing wrong so far. He's been absolutely amazing to begin the season, and so obviously this week, if he performs well, we definitely have to reconsider for next week wildcard if he stays in the team or not. I'm also benching Smith Rowe again. Away to Brighton, as I mentioned, it is a bit of a tough fixture. See, this could completely bite me in the butt again, benching Smith Rowe. Surely you would have thought I learnt my lesson, but I look at those other 4 midfielders. Salah obviously has the toughest fixture, but there's no way I am benching Salah for Smith Rowe. And then Salah, Rafinha and Benrahma, I think all have better fixtures because Benrahma and Rafinha are playing at home, and Salah is playing away, but it's to Leeds. So I think it's a much better fixture. So Smith Rowe, again, will be sitting on the bench there, hopefully not biting me too hard with another 12-point return. And up front, again, no changes here. Chris Wood has got a fantastic matchup against Norwich at home, so I'm really, fingers crossed, hoping that he has a big return here, at least gets us double digit. If he doesn't get me at least 1 goal, I'm going to feel like obviously the trade-in was a bit of a disappointment because I don't think he'd be making it on my wildcard draft, and he's got Man City in game week 8. But a bit of a fun differential. Obviously, we want to play this game for fun. I was really excited by Chris Wood, which is kind of random to think that you'd be excited about a Burnley attacker, but a home fixture against Norwich. Hopefully, he can do the business for us. Antonio, again, similar to Benrahma, great fixture against Brentford at home. He's not going anywhere. And then finally, we've got Ronaldo against Everton at home. If you look at the team, there's not too many fantastic captain options, and I think Ronaldo is probably going to be the best option still, even though United's attack has not been looking all that good in the last couple of weeks. But it's in home fixture against Everton. It's really hard to see Ronaldo blanking, 2 weeks in a row. Salah's got Man City, so I'm definitely not going to be captaining him there. Potentially Chris Wood against Norwich, but I'm not sure. I've got enough faith in him to have him in my team. Whether I want to captain him or not, that's another whole discussion. And then Antonio against Brentford. Brentford have been a pretty decent defense, although when they came up against a good attack like Liverpool, they did concede 3 goals. So I can definitely see West Ham scoring at least 1 or 2, and you would imagine that Antonio is going to be in the thick of it. So if I don't end up going with Ronaldo, I could go for Antonio, but at the moment I'm leaning towards Ronaldo captain and Antonio vice captain for game week 6. Alright guys, so that's the game week 7 team selection. Hopefully there's no other additional injury news that affects the team, but it's just going to be the one move of Luke Shaw to Rudiger. I will come back on the channel a little bit later in the week with a live stream, so definitely stay subscribed if you want to stick around for that. And we will also discuss wildcards. I understand a lot of you will be on wildcards this game week, so we definitely will have some content related to that, or maybe in a separate video. So as always, if you enjoyed the video, really appreciate a thumbs up. It really does help me out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.